Hello, fellow comic book lovers, collectors, and aficionados. Vin Crew here with a well, it's a different kind of a video. I don't. It's if I did one of these, maybe yeah. I think the last one I did was for a Hero Hunter 81 contest back probably 5 years ago. But yeah, I've wanted to do these, but I'm intimidated and scared to do it. To be honest. I'm not a speculator. I'm not good at this stuff. Definitely not a baller in the comic book world by any stretch of the imagination. But you know, I do some guessing, and I read a lot of websites and a lot of G plus sites and a lot of threads and whatnot, and glean information off of there, and just kind of feeling, you know, that there's some books that might be out there that a may be undervalued or are cheap enough that it would be worth it, that if you came across them for, you know, $1 to $5 to $10, depending on where your threshold is, might be worth picking up and holding on to for a little bit of time. So yeah, this is just my feeble attempt at doing that. I know other YouTubers do this on occasion. I think Tumoa does, and Master X Splinter, and Doom, and Reaper Tate, and a few other ones out there. You know, I think Mercenat has done a couple. So, but anyways, these are just, you know, books that, like I said, if you're interested, you know, listen to my reasoning, and by all means do your own homework on this. I'm not telling you to buy these books. I'm not telling you that you're going to get rich off these books. I'm not telling you anything. I'm just saying that this is just my gut feelings and whatnot, and to go from there. But I'm doing a little bit of rambling. Once again, do your homework. First book here, this is Avengers 144. The reason for this book is that apparently there's some photos that have been leaked for Jessica Jones Series 3, which is showing Patsy Walker working out and fighting and that sort of a thing. And so people are taking that leap that she may finally adopt the persona of Hellcat. So if that's the case and you think that that's the thing, I mean, this book here is a great book regardless. I think it should be, if you're an Avengers fan, in your collection. It is Avengers 144. I don't think it's that overly expensive. And once again, you might want to look at this before, if something does pop, that the masses glob onto it, and you're forced to pay that FOMO price for it. So, all right, next book here is Midnight Suns. This is Ghost Rider 28. And if you do buy this book, make sure it is polybag still and has the poster and whatnot in there. This is the first appearance of the Midnight Suns. This book, excuse my glare here. This book here has been talked about on and off for probably 3 years, I want to say, but nothing's really taken off. You can still find this in the dollar box if you look hard enough and are patient enough. People really want the MCU to go that supernatural route, and I think that would be great. It's a different thing, direction altogether. So if that's the case, then people, you know, I mean, you could kind of segment it where they are building towards a team with Ghost Rider as a standalone film, Blade as a standalone film, you know, in the other characters. So, and then they come together and meet whomever, Mephisto or whatever. But yeah, so if you're interested, Ghost Rider 28 might be a book that you're looking for. Next book here is a couple of books. And these are not, well, you might get lucky and find them in the dollar bin. You might. I kind of doubt it, but maybe. These are Marvel Point One. These are the Nick Bradshaw variants. This is the book that introduces Sam Alexander as Nova, the second Nova. I think Nova is a logical choice to part of the cosmic MCU. That's just too much money there to just walk away from the cosmic part of it, especially if DC does the Green Lantern Corps and that has any sort of success. Obviously, Marvels might want to go tit for tat type of a thing. And you can only go so much with Guardians. So if that's the case, Nova could definitely fill a hole there. And it most likely would be Richard Rider, but trying to cater to that younger, more wider audience. And I mean, let's face it, he's in the Ultimate Spider-Man, that sort of a thing. So he does have recognition in the media already, albeit just the animated form. But with that being said, this I believe is 1 in 50 and this is 1 in 100. So they're not overly expensive right now. The regular cover is super cheap to find, very easy, way overprinted. So if Sam Alexander did come into the MCU, I doubt that book would see much. Who knows? I mean, crazier things have happened, but I think your best bets would be on these two here. All right. This one here is pretty funny. I wanted to get this video out before San Diego Comic-Con because I knew that, or I felt that there would be a lull as far as news breaking. And that is so funny that I was going with these two books here. I had them pulled and everything. And then sure enough, the news just broke, I think today, on one of these characters. But that's these two books here. This is Batman 567, which is the first appearance of Cassandra Cain. This is the Detective 647, first appearance of Stephanie Brown. And the news that broke today was that Cassandra Cain is going to be part of the Birds of Prey movie. And the reason I thought that these might be worth speculating is that I was reading so many things, you know. The Batgirl movie is going to be this. The Birds of Prey is going to feature Batgirl as this, or not have Batgirl, or Batgirl won't be in this, or Batgirl will be in that. And I was like, my God, how many different ways can they do Batgirl? So then I thought, well, what if they use different Batgirls? I mean, you know, Stephanie Brown or Cassandra Cain came to mind. And both of these, you should... maybe, you know, maybe not so much. This one here, I noticed, I think 7 issues sold on eBay today alone at the time I looked at it. So, I don't know. So obviously I think this would be the book to look for now. Still, both of these would be good to have. Their first good first appearances. I can spit that out. So kind of funny. I guess a nut can find or a squirrel can find a nut every now and again. So, yeah. So this book is getting some attention right now. Like I said, when I looked at it maybe about 4 hours ago, 7 copies of this is sold. And maybe before that, it took like 2 months to sell 7 copies of this. So, all right. Moving along. Another fan favorite, Darkhawk #1. This is not a hard book to find. Maybe the newsstand might. Here's the newsstand, and then there's the direct edition. But the book I think would be harder to find is this book here. And I know there's people that are just like, oh, it's a preview book. I don't believe in this stuff. That's not a first appearance. That's fine. I'm not telling you that it is or it isn't. I'm telling you this book here is much harder to find. And you can do what you want, but I don't think you can argue about the cover is just there, man. It's a great cover. I like this almost better than I like this. And then it does have the 5-page preview in it. So, and Marvel Ages have shown to have traction in the aftermarket at times. So, and Darkhawk is a secret fan favorite, appeals to the you know, when this came out in the 90s, in the New Warriors, I know the New Warriors has been talked about and characters have been announced for it and whatnot. So if that ever did see the light of day, I think it would be only a matter of time before Darkhawk could be part of that scenario in that group. So, and regardless, it's just a fun book to have, and like I said, a fan favorite, that's for sure. So, all right. Another one here is Invaders #7. This is the first appearance of Union Jack. I think it's also the first appearance of Baron Blood. I could be wrong on that one, but the Union Jack is the character I'm focusing on. The reason I'm bringing that up is I was reading, and once again, only rumors. So, you know, and I think it was either the director or the writer or somebody to that extent wanted to introduce Union Jack into the Black Panther movie, believe it or not. Apparently this guy's a big fan of it, and I don't know why they didn't. There was no right infringement or anything of that nature. It just couldn't. There was too many other aspects of the movie. So there is some chatter that if that's the case, that maybe in Black Panther 2, Union Jack could show up. And you know, so yeah, that if that's the case, once again, this is a $5 book, $10 book. You should be able to find these in your back issue bins. Not a lot of people jump on the Invaders, so. All right, this book has been talked about. I think Doom 143 and Mercenados brought it up. But this is Young Avengers number 6. So you're kind of behind the curve on this one, but you should still be able to find this in the dollar bin if you look hard enough. This is the first time there were Cassie Lang, goes by the name Statute, I believe it is. Apparently, this is a $20 book. I haven't seen really any eBay sales for 20 bucks. I think it's more around $10 to $14. It could get up to 20. I don't know. But yeah, so Young Avengers, first appearance of Statute. And the more I'm reading, the more there's chatter about the Young Avengers being talked about as being introduced into the MCU. So if that's the case, you know, Cassie Lang would be a good fit for that, as she is already in the Ant-Man world. All right, next one here is, this is Inhumans Marvel Knight series number 5. This is the first appearance of Yelena oh my God, I can never pronounce that last name. Yelena Belova, the second, or the blonde Black Widow. And the reason I'm thinking that this might, once again, this is just my wacky way of thinking, whatnot, is that now that the Black Widow movie has been signed a director and there's some chit chat about it, it started me thinking, what would be an antagonist for Natasha to go against? And you know, AIM could be one, Hydra could be one. But it got me thinking also is that, I mean, let's face it, Scarlett Johansson, she's an A-level actress as far as I'm concerned. And she has been in the MCU for a while and her contract is coming up. So not only that, but maybe she wants to transition out of that role or just not be so focused on that role and maybe visit it every now and again. So how could they transition her out but yet keep a character similar to her in the MCU? So why not introduce this second Black Widow as one that could possibly serve as an antagonist for the first movie and then actually show up as a replacement for Natasha in the Avengers if something happened with Scarlett Johansson and the contract and whatnot. So once again, just my off-the-wall goofy thinking there. And here's another one that could be off-the-wall goofy thinking. Sorry, is this book right here, Doom Patrol number 35. And I think if you're a Doom Patrol fan, you know what this book is already. This is the first appearance of Flex Metallo. And this is just my thinking, is that with the Doom Patrol being part of the DC streaming service, and I would not bet anything on streaming service for speculating purposes, but who knows, stranger things have happened. And if they get, you know, there's some ifs to this, obviously, but if they get some, you know, Kelsey Grammer has been rumored to be part of the group, and I know they've already, they just found the girl that's going to be playing Elastigirl. So if that's the case, and it becomes a little favorite, I could see Flex Metallo showing up in maybe season 2 or season 3 type of a thing. And Flex Metallo is a huge fan favorite. If you look at Doom Patrol threads on different chat things and whatnot, if you bring up Doom Patrol, odds are sooner or later Flex Metallo is going to show up in the conversation. Wasn't a huge character in the Doom Patrol, but the little bit it did, he had a huge impact. And you know, he was a total ripoff of Charles Atlas, and I'll go into that story a little bit later. But if that, like I said, dark horse pick on this one, but I could see in this here is a $1 book all the way. Same with this Inhumans. You should be able to find these in the dollar bins. So, all right. These next couple of books or few books are not cheap books whatsoever, but if you're looking at purchasing these books or acquiring them, I think if things could happen, that obviously there would be a spike. And let's face it, I mean, even without news, anything that's Silver Age and first appearance on top of that is just crazy, and it's not slowing down at all. But this is Amazing Spider-Man 15, first appearance of Kraven the Hunter. Kraven happens to be my favorite Spider-Man villain, and he is the only villain that has not been introduced into a movie that I know of. I can't think of any movie that Kraven has been a part of, or if it was just very, very, nonchalant type of a thing. But he is the last of the under issue 20 or under issue 15 villains that really haven't made an appearance. I mean, Mysterio, well, the Rose hasn't, but a couple other ones, and the Rose could be part of this because he's the Kraven's brother, so that could introduce two characters then. And then you cannot disregard Kraven's Last Hunt. I mean, if they ever wanted to go edgy with a Spider-Man movie and get away from the origin issues and whatnot, I could definitely see Kraven's Last Hunt as getting to that point. And so I think Kraven is an undervalued book. This book right here is undervalued, and that it could definitely, like I said, if you have the money, if this was a book that's definitely on your radar, it might not be a bad idea to look at this book now. Same with this book here is Green Lantern number 7, first appearance of Sinestro. I'm not big into specking on villains. I mean, this has been talked about ad nauseum, and I agree with it. 9 times out of 10, it just doesn't. It's a short-lived bump, and then it just comes down to nothing. But there are exceptions. There's Loki and Thanos and Darkseid, and there's those exceptions. Every rule has an exception, and I think both Kraven and this book here could benefit and stay in a bump form. I think that they wouldn't drop down. I know that there's been rumors about Sinestro being part of the Green Lantern movie, and there was a short time where the Sinestro Corps book was Sinestro War, was it? I can't remember. Took a short little bump there. But what I think is, I mean, if the rumors are true that Tom Cruise wants to play part of the Green Lantern, and boy, could he make an awesome Sinestro. And it wouldn't be a character that he would have to play for 3, 4, 5, 6 movies. I mean, it could be a 1 or 2 movie deal and be done with, or or show up at the end of part 1 and then go into part that sort of a thing. But I think Tom Cruise would really do a pretty decent job for Sinestro. Okay, and then this next book here is coming back to Scuttlebutt. It's not a cheap book once again, but once again, if you're looking at buying the book, and it's actually 2 books. It's this book and this book that I'm thinking could go for a bump. This is Captain Britain number 1. If you do buy this, make sure that the mask is in there. My mask is in there. And then this is the Marvel Team Up, Spider-Man, Captain Britain. First U.S. appearance of Captain Britain. First appearance of Captain Britain. Reason I'm bringing this book up is that I was reading on some websites that the new Spider-Man movie is Far From Home is going to be taped, part of it or some of it's going to be taped in the England or UK area. And there are rumors of them going to introduce Captain Britain, believe it or not. And, I could kind of see that because, I mean, it could be a nice little thing to help garner some more attention with the people overseas, and boy, I can't think of the words I'm looking for these days, but boy, I just can't think. But I think you know what I'm saying is that they want, if Marvel, the MCU wants to cater to the audience in England and the UK, this would be a great character to do it. Captain Britain, Captain America. Not saying that he would replace Captain America, but like I just said, Captain America is the America superhero, and Captain Britain, I think, could lend to that. So, and he could work. I don't think that this is a rights issue with Sony or Fox, excuse me, either, because I don't think that he is part of the mutant umbrella. I could be wrong on that one, but regardless, like I said, the rumor is that Captain Britain could show up in the new Spider-Man movie. Once again, only rumors. This last group of books here is, and please excuse, I don't want to sound morbid, so I want to take the morbid aspect out of it. However, I don't know how to talk about this without getting to that point, so please forgive me, but it's just my train of thought here. And that's these three books here, Marvel Super Special #1 and Kiss 12 and 13. First time Kiss shows up in comic format, in a magazine format, and then comic format. I hate that. This is a comic as far as I'm concerned, but everybody to their own. But anyway, the only reason I'm bringing this up is that I can't think of a rock band that is permeated into comics more than that of Kiss. And you know, they have had their own ongoing series and IDW and whatnot, and a band that has influenced rock and roll as much as Kiss. You can't find many that have done more than they have. And let's be honest, here's where the morbid part comes into it, is that, you know, I think Gene Simmons might be the youngest out of the group, and he's 67 or 68. Peter Criss is 72. Ace Frehley is 68, I think, and Paul Stanley is in his late 60s. So, I mean, I hope they live for 20, 30 more years. I haven't heard anything. I don't know of any ailments of these people or anything of that nature, but you know, there's those things that might happen. And let's look at what happened when Prince passed away and The Ultimate Warrior passed away. Those books took a jump, and I could see these books definitely doing that. Yeah, so these are my books here, and that's about it. I just I don't want to make this too long, so you know, let me know if I'm way off my rocker here. And once again, I'm not telling you to buy these books. I am telling you to do your own homework, and it is fun to do this, and we'll go from there. And happy hunting and happy longbox digging. Vin Crew signing off.